Good morning and welcome to News 9. I'm Nolan Pinto. Now, Mumbai police have launched a probe into alleged molestation of Preeti Zinta by her former boyfriend Neswadia. They will soon record the statements of IPL CEO and others, even as the industrialist rejected the charge as false and baseless. Now, the alleged argument between the two took place inside the corporate box number 56 or 56, which incidentally does not have a CCTV camera. While the CCTV footage shows Preeti at the stands moments before she alleged Neswadia of publicly abusing and misbehaving with her, the footage may not be able to prove anything. The police, which was heavily depending on the CCTV footage, will now have to solely rely on the statements of the eyewitnesses. Now, the probe team, headed by an inspector, has begun examining the CCTV footage of the incident. The Marine Drive police have taken CCTV footage from over 10 CCTV cameras from Wankhede Stadium that may have captured the incident. In fact, there are over 150 CCTV cameras in the stadium. Now, the police are also confident that the two eyewitnesses are enough and CCTV footage for scientific evidence is not required to build a tight case. Preeti Zinta claimed that Neswadia molested and abused her in full public view inside the Wankhede Stadium on the 30th of May. The police is looking for persons who were seated next to Preeti Zinta and those who were around at the time of the incident. They include IPL CEO, Sundar Raman, players and staff of the Kings 11 Punjab. Their list is being prepared and their detailed statements will be recorded soon. However, a source has revealed that the industrialist had booked 14 odd seats in Garhwade Pavilion and got angry when he saw his mother, Maureen Wadia, standing as all the seats had been occupied by Preeti Zinta and her guests. Neswadia then got engaged in an argument with the actress over the lack of courtesy shown to his elderly mother, which has now been allegedly twisted and turned into a molestation case. In fact, this is the CCTV footage that we have secured. You can see Neswadia on top there and Preeti Zinta below. Now, the Mumbai police have launched a probe into the alleged molestation case. Now, however, we are told that since the argument took place inside the corporate box number 56, which incidentally does not have a CCTV camera, the police are going to find it a bit tough in order to prove what Preeti Zinta has now stated. Now, Preeti Zinta also took to Facebook to talk about her ordeal. She says, "From my heart, I may not be super wealthy and powerful, but I have truth by my side and I've worked very hard all my life and tried to earn respect for myself as a self-made professional. It saddens me that no one at work or around ever stood up for me in the past when I was abused and insulted publicly. This time I was left with no option but to take this stern step, as this incident happened in front of way too many people. Sometimes we are so ashamed and humiliated that we fool ourselves to believe that no one saw what happened. Everyone always looks away as if they don't exist. Well, then we don't exist. People are embarrassed just enough to look away, but not too embarrassed to intervene. Ironically, what happened at Wankhede is being diluted by every other fabricated story about my character except the truth of what happened. I'm sure the witnesses will speak the truth, and I trust and believe that the police will do their job fairly and quickly. No woman likes to be involved in a controversy like this, which makes her open and vulnerable for all to take a dig at. I have worked for over 15 years in the film industry and have never been subject to such humiliating behavior. And for that, I really want to thank all the men that worked with me. Through all our highs and lows, my head was always held high." She didn't stop there. She went on to say that every human being has a limit to how much they can take. Some of us foolishly call it strength and try to look ahead, focusing on the positives of work and life. All these years, I have never said anything about him in the media, but now I have no choice. I humbly request the media and my supporters to please focus on the issue and the incident that happened in Wankhede and not turn this and me into a TV soap. It's not easy for me, and my intention is not to harm anyone, but simply to protect myself and to stand up for myself. I don't want any sympathy from anyone, but I will sincerely appreciate it if people do not try to take away my dignity in the process of my fight for respect at my workplace. I think after all these years, I deserve it, and I'm not asking for too much. Thank you. In fact, she clearly stated that in her complaint that she is not there to harm anybody or anyone, but only to protect herself. Now, Preeti Zinta has alleged that Neswadia molested, abused and threatened her on May 30th inside the Wankhede Stadium in South Mumbai, where an IPL match was being played between Kings 11 Punjab and Chennai Super Kings. Now, Wadia has rejected the allegations as totally false and baseless. Now, the two had called off their 5-year-long relationship way back in 2009. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's foreign tour kickstarts today, with Bhutan being the first country on his cards. Here's a report.
After his historic defence tour, Narendra Modi is headed on his foreign tour, which will flag off with a 2-day visit to Bhutan. For this, Prime Minister will be accompanied by External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj, National Security Advisor Ajit Doval and Foreign Secretary Sujata Singh. Modi and his team will be meeting Bhutan's King, Jigme Khesar Namgyel Wangchuk and Prime Minister Tshering Tobgay. Both countries will discuss ways to boost ties, particularly in trade and hydroelectricity. Modi will address the joint session of the National Assembly and National Council of Bhutan and will also meet the leader of the opposition. After taking over the office as the Prime Minister, this will be Modi's first foreign tour. Our relations with Bhutan are unique and especially warm. Our historical and cultural linkage makes us natural friends and partners. Bhutan is one of our most important strategic partners. It is a very good country to show our policy of good neighborliness in South Asia and a special token of our friendship. We will explore ways and means of strengthening our ties in important areas. A busy foreign tour is on the cards for Modi. After Bhutan, he will visit Japan, Brazil and the US. A News9 report.
Now, Karnataka has played host to some deadly infections like H1N1 and dengue, to name a few, in the past. Now, the World Health Organization, or WHO, has warned the state of another possible outbreak which might make its way in all the way from the Persian Gulf.
The World Health Organization has warned the state health authorities of a deadly virus called corona, which is expected to be as bad as H1N1 and dengue. The state authorities have decided to tighten the security and routine checks at the Bangalore and Mangalore airports and focus more on incoming flights from the Gulf countries. Many Indians are opting to move back as stringent laws in the Gulf countries are difficult to follow. The state fears that we might end up paying host to these deadly diseases. The first signs of corona infection are cold and fever. As the infection builds in the body, it will eventually lead to pneumonia. The victim might also suffer from breathing problems. It is also said to cause death eventually.
This is like any viral infection, like it manifests like a common cold. So it is very difficult to specifically pinpoint that this is coronavirus infection.
What are its symptoms, sir?
Symptoms are like any common cold, like sneezing, fever, headache, body ache, or sometimes it may manifest like diarrhea or bringing sputum, or suddenly taking ill, or if the patient has got already some disease like diabetes or HIV or immunocompromised host or renal failure, the symptoms may be much more than in a normal individual.
Out of the number of people suffering from corona infections in the Gulf, it has claimed the lives of about 10%. Again, out of the 8,000 people who were infected by the coronavirus in France and Germany, 800 eventually died. Having notified the airports, which see the highest number of people coming in from the Gulf countries, the government is supposed to ensure the carrier doesn't walk out undetected. The Rajiv Gandhi Hospital in Bengaluru and Wenlock Hospital in Mangalore have been briefed on the virus to be ready to curb the infection before it breaks out. Maltesh for News9, Bengaluru.
Now, two women have been frantically searching for their husbands for 2 years, but till date, they have not been able to find them. They have even met the concerned officials, but it has been of no use.
These two women that you see on your screens are Devayani and Akroshya Bhanu. They are in search of their husbands who have gone missing for the last 2 years. The last time their husbands were seen was on their way back in October 2012 in Malaysia. Since then, these two women have been meeting policemen from Chennai and Malaysia, but to no avail. Syed Mohammed Akroshia Bhanu's husband was a hotelier in Kuala Lumpur. His friend Nallatambi, Devyani's husband, had gone to pay a visit to him. He did meet him, but since then both have gone missing. On October 14th, 2 days after the duo went missing, a complaint was lodged with the Chennai police. After that, the two flew to Malaysia and even met the Indian embassy there, but it has been of no avail.
On 12/10/2012, two Indians are missing in Malaysia, and the complaint has been lodged with the Malaysian embassy, and the girl from Chennai also the wife has gone there to Malaysia to give the complaint also in Malaysia. But what happens is the Indian High Commission in Malaysia has not responded properly, and they were so negligent on the complaint of this particular lady, and she has been staying for more than 1 month in Malaysia. But so they have never taken any action to forward the complaint at least to the Malaysian police for necessary action.
My husband missing in Malaysia. I am complained in Malaysia Indian embassy and Malaysia police and Interpol are not any proper action in any government, India and Malaysia.
Till today, no one knows the whereabouts of these two people. While Akroshia Bhanu has 5 children, Devyani has a son. These kids have only a photograph of their fathers whenever they feel like talking to them. Ramesh P. Kantirava, News 9, Chennai.